There's a moment in every journey when you feel like giving up. You've been trying, drinking more water, taking a short walk instead of doom scrolling, breathing deeply before you react. Tiny actions, quiet efforts. And yet, nothing seems to change. Your life looks the same. The problems are still there. And a dark thought creeps in. Does this even matter? Am I wasting my time? Most people stop right here. Not because they're weak, but because no one ever told them the truth. The universe doesn't measure change by speed. It measures by signal. By what you repeat. By what you embody day after day, even when no one notices. Imagine standing by a vast, silent lake. The water is perfectly still, like a mirror. You bend down, pick up a tiny pebble, and drop it in. The surface trembles. Ripples expand outward in perfect circles. Slow, steady, relentless. You don't control where the waves go. But they move. They touch everything. They keep spreading long after the pebble sinks. That's what happens with every choice you make. Every glass of water. Every moment of gratitude. Every pause before you send that angry message. Small acts, almost invisible, yet powerful beyond measure. The problem is, we've been trained to only notice explosions, big wins, big breakthroughs, the promotion, the house, the dramatic before and after story. And so, when nothing dramatic happens right away, we assume nothing is happening at all. But that's a lie. Change doesn't start loud. It starts subtle. Like a whisper you almost miss. Like a single drop in still water. The field of your life is always listening. It's always reading the frequency behind your actions. Not their size, not their drama, just their signal. A quiet glass of water taken with intention can carry more energy than a chaotic gym session done with resentment. A single minute of presence can outweigh alignment. You drink your water slowly with gratitude. This tiny shift sends a completely different ripple, one that expands into clarity, patience, and opportunities you can't yet see. Both mornings look almost identical from the outside, but quantumly, they are worlds apart. Because the signal you send in those first seconds sets the tone for everything that follows. So if you've been waiting for a sign, if you've been wondering whether your small acts matter, hear this. They do. They are not random. They are not wasted. They are the ripples shaping the lake of your future. The only question is, will you keep dropping pebbles? Will you trust the quiet work you can't yet see? Because one day, those ripples will converge into a wave. And that wave will carry you to a life your current self can barely imagine. The first step isn't dramatic. It's small. It's sacred. And it starts now. Big, dramatic actions get all the attention. We see transformations on social media, the shocking weight loss, the overnight success story, the viral moment that changed everything. But here's what no one shows you. Behind every loud breakthrough are hundreds of quiet choices, invisible steps, tiny habits repeated so consistently that reality had no choice but to bend. Consistency is the hidden multiplier. It's not about how much you do once. It's about what you do every single day, even when it feels pointless. Especially when it feels pointless. Think of a musician tuning an instrument. Each small adjustment might sound insignificant alone, but together they create harmony. Without that tuning, even the most expensive violin plays off-key. Your life works the same way. Your morning breath, the tone of your first words, even the posture you hold while drinking coffee. They're all notes in a song you're composing. And the song plays all day long. Most people think they need more. It didn't just change their body, it rewired their identity. This is why small actions matter so much. They're not about willpower. They're about self-definition. Every time you repeat a behavior, you're casting a vote for who you are becoming. Drink water with presence? You cast a vote for the version of you who values your body. Pause before reacting. You cast a vote for your future self's emotional intelligence. Choose gratitude instead of complaint. Another vote for alignment. These votes add up. One day, you wake up and realize you've built a new identity. One small, sacred action at a time. Here's the catch. At first, it doesn't look like anything is happening. That's why so many quit too soon. They mistake silence for failure. But the field isn't silent. It's listening. It's calibrating to your new frequency. Imagine planting seeds in a garden. You water them daily. For weeks, nothing appears. No leaves, no sprouts. It's easy to think the effort is wasted. But beneath the soil, roots are growing strong. The breakthrough comes later, only because you stayed consistent before you saw proof. The same is true for your life. Every act of alignment is a seed. Every repetition is watering that seed. And the harvest? It always comes, but only to those who trust the invisible growth happening underground. Your morning is especially powerful. Why? Because it's the first ripple, the first signal you send to the field. Wake up scattered, and the day amplifies chaos. Wake up present, and the day amplifies clarity. This doesn't mean perfection. You don't need a 2-hour ritual. You don't need fancy journals or Himalayan salt lamps. You just need to begin consciously. 30 seconds of silence, a deep, intentional breath, a glass of water with gratitude. That's enough to tune the instrument of your life. The secret isn't doing more, it's doing less with consistency. To begin. So, she didn't begin. Not for 5 whole years. Until one morning, something shifted. Claire made herself a promise. 5 minutes. Just 5 minutes of writing each day. No rules, no pressure, just a return to herself. The first week was frustrating. The words felt stiff, pointless, but she kept showing up. On week 2, something cracked open. Sentences began to flow. Her thoughts felt lighter. By the 3rd month, her journal overflowed with ideas. A year later, Claire had a completed manuscript. Today, she's a published author, her stories reaching people around the world. Not because she wrote all day, but because she honored 5 minutes. One small ritual that changed her trajectory. There's another story. A man named Daniel had drifted far from his health. He felt disconnected from his body, ashamed of how much weight he had gained. He didn't start with a gym membership. He didn't buy expensive supplements or hire a trainer. He just began walking. 10 minutes a day, rain or shine. No excuses. At first, it seemed too simple to matter. But over time, 10 minutes became 20. 20 became 30. Then came better food choices, more water, deeper sleep. 2 years later, Daniel didn't just transform physically. He became a coach, helping others reconnect with their bodies, not through punishment, through presence, through walking, step by step into a new identity. And then there's Lila. She was drowning in debt. Her relationship with money was pure chaos. But instead of trying to fix it all at once, she made one decision. Every day, she skipped her usual fancy latte and transferred that $5 into a savings app. At first, it was symbolic. $5 couldn't change her life, right? Wrong. Because every transfer was a declaration. I choose discipline. I choose abundance. Weeks passed. The savings grew. Her confidence grew fast. There is no isolated habit. Every action triggers another. Drink water in the morning. More energy at work. More energy at work, better decisions. Better decisions, opportunities you couldn't have predicted. This is the chain reaction of transformation. One ripple creates another. One wave builds on the last. It's not about doing more. It's about choosing one anchor habit, a single starting point that recalibrates everything around it. That's why your first choice of the day matters so much. It's the first ripple, the first chord in the song of your life. Small rituals don't just change your schedule, they change your trajectory. And over time, those quiet choices become the loudest story you've ever told. Most people believe they need to do more to change their lives. More effort, more hustle, more sacrifices. But in quantum reality, that's not how transformation works. It isn't about doing more. It's about doing the right small thing at the right frequency. This is what we call a quantum trigger. A quantum trigger is a micro-action, tiny, simple, almost invisible to anyone watching. But when repeated with presence, it unlocks a chain reaction across your entire life. It's like striking the first note on a piano, one clear sound, and that single sound sets the tone for the whole song. Most people search for a breakthrough habit, the one dramatic action that will change everything overnight. They want the explosion, the fireworks, the visible proof. But quantum triggers don't work like that. They work quietly, subtly, like a hidden switch. Flip it consistently, and your entire reality shifts. So how do you find your quantum trigger? The first step is observation, not judgment, not criticism, just noticing. Pay attention to what lifts your energy and what drains it. True energy, not the temporary rush of caffeine or dopamine. Notice what actions bring you clarity, peace, and alignment. These are hints from the field, pointing toward your ignition point. Long before the wave appears, imagine planting a seed. You water it for days, weeks, maybe months, and see nothing on the surface. It's tempting to walk away. But beneath the soil, roots are forming. The foundation is being built, unseen. Your habit works the same way. The field is calibrating. Your signal is taking shape. but you must hold it steady long enough for the results to emerge. Here's the truth most people miss. 1 minute of pure presence is more powerful than 10 hours of scattered effort. Read that again, because it's not about time. It's about frequency. It's about coherence. When you give yourself fully to a small, sacred act, you become a tuning fork for your future self. That single moment vibrates across timelines. So, what's the starting point? Choose one habit that takes less than 2 minutes. One act so small you can't make excuses. Maybe it's a deep breath before you check your phone. Maybe it's a glass of water with intention. Maybe it's writing one sentence in a journal. Whatever it is, treat it as sacred, not casual, not optional. Sacred. Show up to it as if the entire universe is watching. Because it is. And the field responds to devotion, not drama. Repeat it tomorrow, and the day after, and the day after that. Not for the result, for the resonance, for the signal you're sending to the field. Because when the universe feels the steadiness of your frequency, doors begin to open, timelines begin to bend, synchronicities appear, seemingly out of nowhere. But they didn't come from nowhere. They came from you, from that small, consistent act, from the quantum trigger you honored, day after day, like a quiet revolution. We've been taught to chase change with force. Go big or go home. Push harder. Move faster. Make a massive leap and prove to the world you deserve success. But in the quantum field, that approach doesn't work. Big and chaotic doesn't create alignment. Small and when you slip. The quantum field doesn't punish mistakes. It simply mirrors whatever frequency you hold now. When you drift off rhythm, the wave pauses. When you return to presence, it resumes. There is no failure, only return, only remembering. Let me show you how this looks in daily life. You wake up and decide to skip your morning breathwork. You're tired. You reach for your phone. Suddenly the day feels heavy. You react instead of responding. You eat on autopilot. You speak harshly to yourself and others. By evening, you wonder why everything felt off. It's not bad luck. It's just the ripple you sent out first thing in the morning. Now imagine the same day starting differently. You wake up and pause. One deep, intentional breath. Feet on the ground. A glass of water with gratitude. 30 seconds of presence. That's it. From the outside it looks like nothing, but internally everything shifted. You entered the day tuned instead of tangled. That single coherent act set a rhythm that flowed through every choice that followed. This is why your mornings matter so much. Not because you need a perfect 2-hour routine, but because your first signal sets the tone for the rest of the day. The compounding effect is where the magic happens. One small act leads to another. That breath before checking your phone makes you a little more conscious with breakfast. A mindful breakfast gives you more clarity at work. That clarity helps you handle a tough conversation with grace. That conversation opens an unexpected door. And that door leads to a future you couldn't have planned if you tried. None of it looked dramatic in the moment, but looking back, you see the ripple. The way one tiny choice shaped your entire trajectory. This is why nothing is ever wasted. Not a single sip of water, not a single breath of gratitude. not a single moment of presence. Even when you can't see the results, your actions are planting seeds in the field. Invisible now, inevitable truth you've finally chosen to embody. The power was never in the size of your actions. It was always in the steadiness of your song.